Welcome everybody to our first ever National Spine Health Foundation Virtual Race Day Challenge. I know it's weird, and being in this COVID-19 pandemic, we're having to find creative ways to get moving and get out there. And you can bet that the National Spine Health Foundation is not going to stop their Race Day Challenge just because we're stuck inside and we can't organize a formal event. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to help you warm up, get yourself ready to get out there on the road, and just get your energy up and get you ready to go. So the first thing I want you to do is we're just going to do some light marches, right? So as you're marching, I want your elbows driving back. We don't want our arms flapping all over the place. We want them just driving straight forward, straight back. I want nice length going down into your leg with each step towards the ground. We don't want anything short and choppy. We want nice tall hips through this warm up. And so now we're just keep going there, and we're just gonna go into some squats next. So I want you to let your feet come to a rest, and I want you to widen up your feet, and I want you to push your knees wide as you send your hips back. And we're just gonna work this action a little bit. Think about the back of your neck going long as you send your hips back. No sneaking those knees forward, no lifting your heels off the ground. Your foot needs to stay on the ground the whole time. Keep reaching that spine nice and long with each squat. Keep going. Let's give me 3. Make those knees go wide outside your pinky toes. We don't want any pinchy knees. Give me 2 more. And we're going to go back into our marches now. Really getting some blood pumping through your legs. Drive that length down. And let's do some table cleaners. And so what we're doing with this arm action is just floating our arms, but it's really activating our core. So what I want is your shoulders and abs to really be driving down towards the ground as your arms are loose and fluidly moving. Think about length in the back of your neck as you keep your body fluid, imagining yourself running that course. In the best of cases, everything feeling great in your body, and that's gonna come from a nice warm up. All right, so next we're gonna go into some squats again. I'm gonna give you a little challenge with this. So you can do regular squats like we did last time, or you can start with your feet narrow, jump into a wide squat, and then come back up, jump back into that wide squat. This would be a slow version. This would be a quick version. And whatever level you're at, and if this is the level you're at, that's fine. We have to do the hardest thing you do well. So we're not worried about what everybody else can do. I'm worried about what you can do today. Good, so now we're gonna stop on that, and we're doing a little toe warm up, something for our feet. So what I want you to do is stand on your toes. Try not to go out wide so you're falling out over your pinky toes. You wanna stay in the middle, up over your big toes. And just walk around. You can walk around in a circle, you can walk in place, you can go forward and backwards. But if this causes you issues, if your feet are not strong enough to hold you up and move, then this is your alternative. Just go up to your toes and relax down. So again, the hardest thing you do well. If you're the person who can walk around your toes, I want you stressing your feet. If you're somebody who's a little tighter in their feet, their ankles and their calves, then let's just be nice and gentle. Get them moving. Be ready for the walk that you're gonna do. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is an extension. And I love body extensions because when we're doing extensions, we wanna put as much energy through our body as we can without moving. So I want you to widen your feet. I want you to reach your hands towards the floor with your palms facing forward. And I want you to really reach for the ground. And now with that same energy reaching towards the ground, try and lengthen your ears away from your shoulders so that the back of your neck becomes long. You also want to feel your abs staying anchored and down towards the floor so we're not leaning into any popped ribs or into our heels. Keep reaching for the floor. Keep reaching towards the ceiling with your head. Keep driving your heels into the ground. Keep thinking about flexing your quads to straighten your knees as much as you can. We got 5, 4. Keep breathing as you're reaching. 3, 2, and relax. Let everything melt. Move around a little bit. Great. So the next thing we're going to do is a lunge squat. And so for this one, if you have something handy nearby, like a counter, a chair, something like that, you're more than welcome to use it to slide up and then down into a squat. I'll show you from the front in a second, but I just want you to see that my knees are not sliding forward. My hip is driving backwards with each movement. Again, you can stay on the counter if you need to, but what we're looking for is for the knee to go wide, for you to stick your butt back, and then you come back up. Knee wide as you stick your butt back. Make sure this leg goes straight. What we don't want is this. If you're holding tension in that leg, your knee won't like this, so push length through the middle of your knee, and then come up. We got one more on each side. Pushing length to the knee as we stick our butt out. Think about the back of your neck lengthening as you're sticking your butt away from that length. And then come up. Great. All right, so now we're gonna do a little bit to charge up your core and your arms. And on a typical race day, I wouldn't be able to do this because people don't have things. There's not enough room on the ground for everybody to get into a plank. And so when I say plank, you do not have to do a plank on the floor. Unless you are really, really strong and you can handle whatever challenge I throw at you and you feel it here and you don't feel it here, then I would prefer you to do it somewhere where you can control your feeling of this area. We want to stay tight through all this and long through all this. If your butt's poking up or you're letting your ribs pop and your back is arching or rounding, then we need to give you something a little bit easier to do. So, the hardest position that you can do well, I want you to work on planking and just switching what arm you lift off of the ground or the chair or the counter. If I were to do this on the ground, just so you can see it from this angle, I don't want my body to twist at all. I want my hips to stay long and centered through it all, no twisting. Okay, so whatever challenge you use, make sure that you're doing the hardest thing you do well. All right, so next, we're gonna do some pogos. So pogos is an ankle jump. Your knees don't bend much, it's mostly just your ankles. But if that, just like the other one where we were walking, is too much for you to sustain, then you're just gonna do slow heel lifts. Just letting your heels come up, letting your heels relax down. Don't do too many that feels like your calves are turning on fire. We just want to get them moving. So if you can do some pogos, try and get up as high as you can when you're doing those pogos. Get those feet energized. Get your legs energized. Use your arms to give you a little scoop through action. Good. All right, so we're going to go back to the plank. We're almost done, guys. Find your plank position wherever it is. Lift one arm, lift the other arm, and then hold. Now I want you to try and lift one leg and lift the other leg so that they're pulling into a runner's position. Make sure as your leg is up, your heel is not down on the ground. It should be hovering off the ground the whole time. Keep those shoulders pushing away from your hands and pushing away from your ears so that you can really keep your hips nice and straight, no pooching up. Good. All right, so we got one more set of our pogos. If you want to do a little side to side, that's not bad. If you want to do a little front to back, that's not bad. Get things moving, ready for whatever you're gonna have to encounter in the race, whether it's curbs, other people, or maybe not other people today, but other things, obstacles in your way. You want to make sure that you're ready to go. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is a squat where you're gonna hold on. If you have a partner, you can hold on to your partner's hands. We've done this in the past at races. But if you don't have a partner, grab a counter or a sink and just give me some reaches of the hips to stretch out your hips and knees going wide. I don't want any pinching in and I don't want any rounding trying to go lower. You need to stick your butt out. Your bend should be coming below the butt, never up at the waist. We don't bend from our belts, we bend from our butts. Good, all right. Let's give me one more extension before we just do a couple light stretches before we go. All right, so let's give me another extension. If you want to reach your arms a little wider this time, that's fine. But just make sure the shoulders are reaching away from your ears. The ears are reaching up away from the shoulders. The fingers are reaching through the middle fingers towards the floor. Your quads are flexing so you can get those knees straight. Your feet are relaxed, but your heels are driving into the ground. 3, 2, rest, let everything melt. Good. All right, so what we're gonna do is one little stretch. And when we're doing this stretch, we're not gonna hold it a long time. What we're gonna do is we're gonna find the stretch by stepping back. I want your front knee nice and wide. I want your hips square to the front. Your foot can turn just a little bit if you need to. And so all I want you to do is step back, find that stretch for about 5 seconds, come up. Step back, find that stretch, come up. If you need something to lean onto, that is perfectly fine. Just make sure that that back hip and that back knee find a straight position every time. You're trying to drive that heel down into the ground as your hip reaches towards the wall in front of you. Heel goes down, hip goes forward, feel that energy stretching through that leg. Beautiful. All right, one last one, and we're gonna do a down dog. So again, I'm not teaching you not having you do anything that is slow and stretchy. We're trying to get you excited. So I'm doing everything that I can to get your muscles ready for whatever you're gonna do on that race. So on this down dog, don't think yoga. You're not going down there to stay for a long time. I just want you to have nice wide feet, hands on a steady counter, and I want you just to push your butt up in the air as high as you can without letting your back bend. I want you to really just work on getting the back of your knees straight, and then you're gonna come back into your plank position. And then the butt goes up as the heels drop down. Notice that I'm not dropping below my hands. And if this is too stressful for you, find a wall. I can't do it on this one because this will probably push it down. But find a wall and you can do the same thing, guys. It doesn't have to be perfectly in a corner or on a counter. We really just need to do the best that we can with what we have available. So there's your warm-up. Hopefully you're feeling energy through your body and you can visualize yourself coming over that race line with your hands held high, knowing that no matter what happens, no matter who tells you you have to stay inside or not be able to be around others, that you're fighting for yourself to keep moving and keep strong. So go get them, guys.